Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay. I'm Hsin-Po. I'm from the Department of Computer Science at National Chengchi University, Taiwan. Okay. Today we would like to share with you our findings in digital humanities research with the topic digital humanities approach to comparing Tang and Song poetry, revealing thematic evolution through multiple rounds of LDA topic modeling. This research analyzed Tang and Song poetry using an LDA model. We used to extract thematic keywords. By inductively summarizing these thematic keywords, we discovered temporal traces in the vocabulary of Tang and Song poetry, which correspond to findings from other Chinese poetry researchers. Okay, this is the outline of our report. We will start with an introduction to Tang and Song poetry, followed by the experimental design process, and finally the observations and discussions, ending with a Q&A session. Okay, first, let's briefly introduce Tang and Song poetry. In the history of Chinese literature, Tang and Song poetry represent the peak periods of poetry, with many significant works and poets emerging during this time. Basically, these periods are distinguished by the Tang and Song dynasties. Tang poetry can be further divided into the early, the high, and the middle and that Tang periods based on a chronological order. These distinctions are based on the era, meaning that creators were influenced by their contemporary environment and use prevalent vocabulary in their works, thus showing identifiable time. Timestamps insert the poetry from different periods. Peers exception differences in vocabulary, although different eras show distinctions. Time develops linearly and cannot be easily divided into time blocks. Often, one era deeply influences the next, a common phenomenon in literary and historical studies. This is also true for the development of poetry, where traces or phenomena from a previous era can be seen in the subsequent eras. Our research starts from this point, using our LDA model to identify thematic keywords used in poetry from different eras, comparing them to verify whether each era has its representative thematic keywords and whether there are differences or similarities between different eras. Simply put, we analyze poetry from different time periods to find thematic keywords and observe the variations in poetry across these periods. Okay, this is the overview of our experimental process. Starting with the data sources, we used Chen Tang Shi and Quan Song Shi as our primary experimental data. Quan Tang Shi contains about 40,000 poems, and Quan Song Shi contains about 185,000 points, totaling almost 230,000 points. In the pre-processing stage, each point was segmented into individual words using 结巴, a Chinese word segmentation tool. These words were then vectorized using TF-IDF, removing the highest and lowest frequency words to form a set of word vectors. Okay, next, we determined the number of topics to select. After comparing coherence scores, we choose 10 topics. Then maybe we talk about LODA model first. According to the basic concept of LODA, an article is composed of many topics, each of which has its corresponding representative vocabulary. Therefore, by analyzing the frequency of vocabulary that appears in the article, one can identify which topic the content belongs to and further categorize the content of the article. We use scikit-learn tool as foundation of our system. Okay, next step, we fed the factors into the LODA model. And we fix its parameters and randomness to avoid unpredictable variations in the results. Ensuring consistent output, we use the result to next step. Okay, the model ran 100 iterations, and the top 10 thematic keywords based on coherence scores were selected as the final results. The approaches mitigates random output interference and ensures that our results reflect the inherent properties of the data through a significant number of experimental outcomes. Okay, here are our results. On the left are the 10 thematic keywords of Tang poetry, and on the right are the 10 thematic keywords for song poetry. Looking at the figure on the left, the first row shows Shen, and Xiang, both related to religion or belief, reflecting the need for religious salvation during times of political turmoil and the flourishing of Taoism and Buddhism at the time. In contrast, the figure on the right shows Gongming and Wenzhang in the first and second rows of Song poetry. The Song dynasty was an era of civil governance with the imperial examination system flourishing, and many scholars dedicate themselves to serving the country. Hence, these terms are prevalent in Song poetry, indicating the distinctive vocabulary used during the Song dynasty. Okay, further, we apply our model to analyze individual periods, also yield impressive results. As mentioned earlier, Tang poetry can be divided into 4 periods, and we use LLM, as known as GPT-4o, to classify poets by their year of death. Our attributing their works to that era, dividing them into 4 categories, and then running our LODA model for statistical analysis. Okay, first, we can find the 10 topics of early Tang. Many religious terms appear, like 仙道, 三清, 仙人, 僧家, 仙儿, 出家, 仙方, etc. This result corroborates the earlier explanation of 仙人 and 焚香, reflecting the transition from the chaotic Wei, Jing, and Sui periods to early Tang, where the need for religious belief and reliance is evident in the vocabulary used in poetry. In the golden age of Tang, many word-related terms such as 战, 清, 塞上, and 攻 appear, reflecting the Anlushan rebellion, which marked the transition from prosperity to decline in Tang society, with frequent wars and civil unrest evident in the vocabulary. Okay, in that time, with the empire in decline and prosperity no longer present, Continuous turmoil led to social decay and desolation, with terms like 茫茫,零落,寂寞, and 寂寥, reflecting the mindset of the time, indicating a loss of hope or optimism. Another term, yo-yo, shows a nonchalant attitude toward reality, while 仙人 appear in the thematic keywords, suggesting a retreat to religious solace amid chaos. Our LODA model has successfully identified vocabulary differences across different periods in the poetry, reflecting the connection between literary creation and historical context. However, we also see continuous traces from one era to the next in the poetry. Okay, returning to song poetry, many thematic keywords related to everyday natural scenery appear. 桃花、梅花、桃李、青山、梧桐、春色, etc. In contrast, the thematic keywords of that Tang poetry include 芙蓉、青苔、秋色、桃花、杏花, etc., also describing natural scenery. This indicates a close connection between song and that Tang poetry in their depiction of natural scenery. Comparing earlier figures, although some natural scenery related terms may appear, such a large proportion is only evident in that time, not in the other two time periods. From comparing thematic different across different eras to discovering similar themes during transitions, our LODA model performs well in this topic. According to Kojiro Yoshikawa's representative work, A General Introduction to Song Poetry, the differences between Tang and Song poetry lie in several aspects, linking to social issues, describing detailed everyday life, using poetry to explore philosophical questions, and focusing mainly on realistic themes. Summarizing previous analysis results, we indeed see a large proportion of natural scenery keywords in song poetry, with similar phenomena already appearing in that time. Similarly, religious belief-related keywords are absent in song poetry, but frequently appeared in Tang poetry. Through Mr. Yoshikawa's research, we can see that our analysis accurately reflects the historical traces in poetry. Okay, our future work will be two. First, we will use the Chinese biographical database to chronologically categorize poets and their works. Second, we will use our model to examine thematic patterns across different periods, aiming to uncover trends in poetic themes. We want to find more valuable results in classic Chinese literature heritage. And thanks for your listening. And that's our report.